Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to my February. No, wait a minute. Well, it is February, but welcome to my January and February wrap up. In January, I read a total of 5 books in January. There was a lot going on in January, so I didn't read what I had intended to, like with the amount I had wanted to read, and it took me forever to read a book. Like, there was just so much going on, and it took me forever to read this first book I'm about to talk to you about, which is The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. This one is the sequel to The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, and it follows a group of people, 6 people, who are invited to compete in this competition where they can then be inducted into this Alexandrian society, which has really ancient magic, ancient power, ancient knowledge. And these 6 characters have the opportunity to compete, to become a part of the secret society, and only 5 will make it. Someone has to become a sacrifice for the other 5 to become a part of this society. So there's only going to be 5 that will make it. And I really enjoyed the sequel. It talks about sentient beings, who gets to say who gets the power and who doesn't. I thought it was really good. The characters' motivations are becoming a little bit more clear, but they are still a little bit shady. And I tell you, everyone is like a couple in this. Olivia Blake said there's no like monogamy here. There's like a lot of polygamy. Like, don't ship one character with just one other character. It goes to show, because they all have such good chemistry, like you wonder, are they not, should they, shouldn't they, kind of thing. It's really good. The 3rd one comes out on my birthday next year, so I'm very happy about that, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I then read The Great Zoo of China by Matthew Reilly. Is it Reilly or Riley? I don't know. So in this one, the Chinese government have kept a secret for 40 years, I believe it is. Yeah, for 40 years. The secret that the Chinese government have kept from the world is that they have discovered dragons. They make a zoo out of the dragons, like a zoo/amusement park. And they invite people from Western countries to come and talk about it and give it hype. Things go horribly wrong. I read a review of this book before I actually read it, and someone said that this is like a Jurassic Park fan book, and like, it is. It really is. I definitely see a lot of parallels. Is that the word I'm looking for? I'm just gonna roll with it. I see a lot of parallels between this one and Jurassic Park. Also Jurassic World, a teeny tiny little bit. The action and the dragons. Oh wait, did I tell you? I gave this one 4 stars. I gave this one 3 stars. Look, the action and the dragons were absolutely the best part of this book. The chapters are nice and short, and with the action, it really helps to speed things along, which is really good. It was just a fine book. I think the characters were the real letdown for me, especially the main character. She was kind of like a Mary Sue. Like, she was just this perfect, a bit too perfect of a character. And like, come on, with how dangerous these dragons were supposed to be, lose a limb. You know, like, make it a little bit more higher stake, but I don't know, it was just fine. I think if you're looking for a good, fun, action-packed, good, fun time, and you really enjoy dragons, like you love dragons, I think this one will be a good one for you. We then have The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. This follows 2 fathers and their young daughter when they go to a cabin for a getaway, where a group of 4 intruders literally break into the cabin and say to the father, and also to Wen, you have to sacrifice one of yourselves to stop the apocalypse from happening. If you don't, the apocalypse is going to happen and everyone will die. I gave this one 3 stars as well. I liked it. There were some things that I was absolutely shocked about, where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. It was sad. There's like a bit more of a biblical presence in this one. Like, it doesn't go too overboard, but there is a bit of a biblical presence where you don't know whether to believe these characters or not, because they're completely messed up. I think the characters' reactions were realistic, at least for my opinion. I think they were realistic enough. This is going to be a bit of a hot take, but I think the movie did a bit of a better job at the biblical aspects and not really believing these 4 intruders in the first place. I think the movie did a really good job. I think it actually did a better job than the book. Just there was some things missing in the book that could have really enhanced it for me. We then have The Drift by CJ Tudor. This is her new release book. It follows 3 people. We follow Hannah, Meg, and Carter throughout different timelines. Hannah and Meg, one of them is in a bus where they were being evacuated to go to somewhere else because there was this kind of outbreak that happened. Either Hannah or Meg, I can't remember which one. One of them was trapped in a bus because something happened to the bus and the bus like run off the road kind of thing, and there's like dead bodies are piling up. There's a murderer on that bus. Then we have another female character, either Hannah or Meg. I think it actually might be Meg. And she has been drugged. She's fallen asleep in this gondola kind of thing, going from one area to like a ski resort. Again, she wakes up with these strangers, and again, there's a killer on this train, on this gondola kind of thing. And then we follow Carter, who is abandoned or trapped with other people in this academy. I think it's an academy. And again, there's a killer on the loose. Oh my gosh. Now, these 3 characters follow different timelines. They are not in the same timeline. It feels like it when you're reading it, but it's different timelines. And it was written so well. I gave this one 4 stars. Talks a lot about survival and what you would do for your loved ones and for yourself when it comes to surviving in an apocalyptic situation, because there is this outbreak and people turn into like creepy, ugly kind of fungus, virusy kind of things. Trigger warning for a rape scene. It's towards the end of the book, but it's very, very minimal. It's not graphic, but it is there just for a few sentences, like a small like little mini paragraph, so please be warned about that. One thing about survival situations and apocalyptic situations is that I really like it when characters are kind of forced to not be themselves. They are forced to adapt in a situation that is something they wouldn't think that they would ever do, and they have to adapt to their surroundings and do things that they thought they would never ever do. I really, really love that theme in an apocalyptic, dystopian, end of the world situation. I did think this book was just good. I liked the writing. It really kept you turning the pages to see what was going to happen, and oh boy, plot twist. I did not see that happening, but then like you could, it was good. It was really good. Once you get to that plot twist point, you then think back to the other chapters and other perspectives, and you think, oh my gosh, how did I miss that? It was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars. The last one I read in January, The Walking Dead Compendium 4 by, what's his name again? Robert Kirkman. Yeah, Robert Kirkman. This is the last book in the Walking Dead series. And you know what? It was a really good ending. I really enjoyed it. It follows a group of people who are surviving in a zombie apocalypse, and they go through a lot of shit in the series, okay? I had spoiled myself for this, so I kind of knew what was going to happen, but it was still absolutely shocking because I had absolutely no idea when it was going to happen, so quite shocking. Really, really was. Like I had said previously with The Drift by CJ Tudor, I'm gonna put this down because my back is killing me. Again, like I had said with CJ Tudor's book, The Drift, I really love it when people are forced to become someone else to adapt to their new surroundings and do things that they thought they would never ever do. This one does talk a lot about the weight of becoming a leader and a beacon of hope for the survivors, just the mental and physical toll it would take on you to become what someone needs in a world like this, where zombies are running around wanting to eat you. Oh my gosh, like, it was really, really good. Really, really good. Some of the story arcs I feel were wrapped up a little bit too quickly, but I think because of it being in a comic book format, I think it had to like wrap it up pretty quickly. There's a TV show adaptation of The Walking Dead. I feel like the TV show does the character arcs a little bit better. Well, not character arcs, but, well, yeah, that too, but the story arcs a little bit better because you just have a little bit more room, a little bit more time to play around with. I really love this series. I really need to finish off the show. I just needed a break from it. I couldn't deal with it anymore. I just needed a break from it. I really need to finish it off. That's January. On to February. February, I read double the amount of books. This is the most amount of books I have ever read, ever, and like absolutely ever. And the reason why I have read so much is because I started reading Attack on Titan by Hajime Isayama. I can't twist my wrist around, there we go. The first 7 volumes in this manga series, they took up the bulk of my reading. I was not complaining about it. Honestly, with how fast I was reading these, I could have finished this series in a week. Honestly, if I didn't have any reading obligations, I would have read it in a week. It follows a group of people who are forced behind a 3-walled city. They have been in there for a century? Yeah, for the past century. And the reason why they are forced to live in these 3-walled cities is because of the introduction to Titans. Ignore the background noise, please. It's because of the introduction to Titans. And Titans have been running amok. They've been eating people. First 3 volumes are absolutely action-packed. Look, I had kind of spoiled myself with some things for the series, but I've been told that it's not predictable and that you think you got to figure it out, but then it changes and you'll be left scratching your head thinking, how did I miss that? Kind of has that kind of element in it. So the thing I found out about and I spoiled myself for already happened in the 2nd volume, I believe. Yep, in the 2nd volume, probably even by the end of the 1st one. Knowing what I already know, kind of, in the first 3 volumes, which are very action-packed, makes me wonder that there is something bigger that is going to happen in the rest of the manga series. This is a 34-volume series. So that's that for the first 3 volumes. Also, the action scenes are actually quite gruesome. You can tell which ones are the action scenes because you'll just get constant, like, black pages. You see all the pages will be like that. They're just nearly all blacked out. And then by the 4th volume, you will... Come on, focus up. They will start to look like that. You see what I mean? You can tell which ones are the action-packed ones because of those, the kind of like grayed out edges. This 4th one does take a bit of a slower turn. We are getting introduced to some side characters. We are establishing them and the relationships that they have with the main characters. It blended the past and the present day really well. You don't realize that you have finished the past or the present until you go, oh damn, okay, we're back to here again. But done really well, not confusing at all. We then have volume 5, which again is a very action-packed one. This one does feel a little bit similar to the other volumes. You are constantly asking questions. You don't really get many answers to them, and I'm assuming until like the further you get into it. In this one, it feels like the chess pieces are starting to move in a little bit more. They're starting to move around the board to really set up for the rest of the series and what could happen. The characters in this world are placing a lot of trust in something or someone that they don't know what the hell is happening. They're placing a lot of trust in something that they maybe shouldn't trust. And I gave the first 5 volumes 4 stars out of 5, and I gave volumes 6 and 7 5 stars out of 5. This is when things are really becoming really interesting. I think this is where the series is going to take off. Action galore, loved it. There's like a mystery element to it with an introduction to another Titan. Like, what does that mean? There is something happening. I think I kind of spoiled myself again, and I think I may know what is happening, but I don't know with who or what or when or how. And you know, they still haven't gone to somewhere where they should have. I really can't wait to watch the anime because I feel like some of the action scenes in the graphic novels and the manga, I should say, they're a little bit hard to translate and understand with some of them, just with the speed of the Titans and how fast they run, some of them. And there's different classes and different types of Titans, which is fascinating. I think some of them have powers, I think. But like I had said, I can't wait to watch the anime just because I think the action scenes are going to translate a little bit more better. And this is gory as all heck, so if you don't like gore, I probably don't read it, but it's not, no, just be warned, it is a little bit gory. Oh, I can't wait to binge read the rest of the books in the series. I then read Saint by Adrienne Young. It is a prequel book to the Fable duology, also by Adrienne Young, and it follows Saint, who is Fable's father. And it's about how he became this merchant, trader, gem digger, boat, ship thingamajiggy. I'm a little bit rusty with the world building and everything. It follows him and how he became a really prominent figure in the Narrows, or the Unnamed Sea. I think it's the Narrows. I gave this one 3 stars. 3 stars out of 5. I thought it was fine. One thing I did not realize is that we are also getting the perspective of Isolde, who is Fable's mother. So it's like a bit of a love story and how they met each other. Took me by surprise because I did not know that at all. It was good, and you really do see Saint becoming who he was in the Fable duology. And I actually really liked the father-daughter relationship in the Fable duology. I thought it was really complex and really interesting. But at the same time, this book would just left me a little bit disappointed. I wanted a little bit more. What that little bit more would have been, I don't know. But you really do see where Saint and Isolde came from. You understand them a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think I have too much more to say about that. That was pretty much all the thoughts I had about it. Just wanted a little bit more, but you do get to see Saint becoming who he was in the Fable duology. You get to see reflections of that, and I really like that. You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. I read this book as well, and oh boy, I am on the Emily Henry hype train. It was really good. It follows 2 people, Poppy and Alex. Poppy is a travel influencer, and Alex is an English high school teacher. And they have been friends since college. They always go on a summer vacation together until something happens on summer vacation where all of a sudden they haven't talked to each other in 2 years. And it's about one last chance to revive their friendship for one summer vacation. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I really like the chemistry that the characters have, and just with how good the chemistry is with the characters, I am convinced that they are meant to be. They are soulmates. They are each other's lobster. I'm going to try and say this as vaguely as possible. You know how people in real life go to therapy to help with their issues? Because you know how sometimes going to therapy, if you are in a relationship or want to be in a relationship, helps you be a better person. That was kind of like this situation here. They had issues, right? So they kind of, no, that's going to be a bit spoilery. I will tell you that I think it was done very well. They were mature, and they dealt with things in a mature and adult-like way. Also, getting to see Poppy's job as a travel influencer and how she had this little mini blog that she started to gain traction, and how she also became employed by a very popular travel magazine. I really liked seeing that aspect of it. That was absolutely fascinating to me. Also, the conversation that college and university isn't for everyone. I really like that talk. I think we need to see more of it because society places such a strong emphasis on going to uni, getting a college degree, or a uni degree. That doesn't work for everyone. So I really like that little bit of a conversation there as well. And then the last book is Sacred Hospitality by Olivia Blake. It is a short story following your favorite characters from the Atlas 6 trilogy. I don't think this book needed to happen. I gave this 3 stars. Wasn't necessary to the story. It's just like this short story didn't really add anything to what we don't already know, except for Callum. I really wanted to see Callum's family life, and I got that in this one. I was satisfied by that one because we always heard that Callum's father was a nasty piece of work, and I had wanted to see that for myself, and we did. Rena was done dirty. She only had 1 page, which is pretty much just 1 chapter, and I feel like this one was a bit fan servicey to all the Nico, Libby, Gideon, Fane people, or the shippers. Nothing was really added too much. Like, the characters are pretty much the same in the series that you may or may not have read. And, like, if you've read the series, I just say stick with the series, because it's what you see in the short stories, what you also see in the series. So just stick with the series, because you do get a little bit more of the characters, especially Rena, because she was done dirty, like I said. 3 stars out of 5 for that one. Still enjoyable, still had a good time. And that is all. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below what books you read in the month of February and January, or January and February, other way around. And I will see you later in the next video.